that the United States should move the embassy. But every president before Donald Trump was too afraid to do that. They mistakenly thought that there would be dangerous consequences. So occasionally, and I don't want to play luck, because there a lot of times when presidents are afraid of doing something, there's a very good reason. But I think that's what is playing out here. Trump had the guts to do this, and sometimes that can be a good thing. But if you think about it analytically, what are the risks here? The Venezuelans do not have significant military forces. The United States is very powerful. This is practically a backyard. The Venezuelans have U.S. fighter jets from the 70s.
Live from Michigan Avenue, this is Fox 32's Good Day Chicago.
We are following some breaking news this morning on Good Day. U.S. troops strike Venezuela and capture President Nicolas Maduro. Well, Chicago sees its lowest level of violent crime in more than a decade. What Mayor Brandon Johnson and some residents are now saying about the new statistics. And taking a live look outside, we're getting off to a cold and cloudy start this morning. Mark Strell will have the latest on the forecast in just a bit. Good morning, and thanks for joining us this Saturday. Brian Jackson here, joined at the desk. But Mark, how are we looking in terms of what's outside today?
You know, today's got winter written all over it. Nothing really nasty. There's not really any snowfall coming our way. There's not anything bitter cold coming our way, but pretty much just normal winter conditions. We've got some clouds around today, and we'll have daytime highs. We may struggle to hit 30, but I think we'll be in the neighborhood of 30 degrees right now. We're looking down the lake, down towards the South Shore. Things are all pretty quiet here in the city this morning. Our forecast high temperatures, again, I'm going to go 30. You can see our forecast models maybe a little underperforming there, but there certainly will be a little mix of temperatures in the 20s and 30s around this morning. And one of the things that will keep us in the clouds as we go throughout the morning and into the afternoon is this little disturbance pushing in across Wisconsin. Now, very close to us, the snow is starting to show up, and our forecast models may even paint a little bit of snowfall across parts of northern Illinois. But still, I think we're going to go with dry conditions here across Chicago. Our atmosphere is quite dry here this morning, and I think it's going to absorb most of any moisture content that comes our way from the north. So right now, temperatures holding at 17 degrees at Waukegan. It's a chilly 16 degrees in Woodstock. Meanwhile, go to the south, a little more cloud cover, temperatures in the 20s, 24 degrees in Joliet, 24 degrees in LaSalle, Peru, 23 degrees right now in Kankakee. Fortunately, our winds have been very light. So wind chill's not much of a factor here this morning. Our winds mostly about 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 miles per hour, pretty gentle breezes. That's the way we're going to roll throughout the day today. So even with those 4 or 5 mile per hour winds, good enough to reduce the wind chills down to the single digits and down to the teens across a wide swath of Chicago. But if you're looking for warmer temperatures, we have those on the way. This is the 6 to 10 day temperature trend, and you can see not only red, but dark red splashed all over the map here, right across our neighborhood. And the temperature trend will be pushing us into the 40s as we go into the 7-day forecast. I'll share that with you coming up.
Now to some breaking news this morning. The U.S. has captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and flown him out of the country following a strike on the capital of the country. This video shows multiple explosions rocking the area. Reports say at least 7 explosions and low-flying aircrafts could be heard around 2 a.m. there in the city of Caracas. The mission was carried out by the Army's Delta Force. The strike came as the Trump administration continued to put pressure on Maduro, who's been charged with narco-terrorism here in the U.S. President Trump gave the green light for his capture several days ago. President Trump went on to Truth Social confirming the U.S. strike against Venezuela and the capture of both President Maduro and his wife. Both have since been flown out of the country. U.S. officials say that Maduro is expected to stand trial here in the U.S. We'll have much more on this story throughout the morning. Well, a rough start to 2026 for a family record store in Beverly. Someone crashed into it on New Year's. The front doors are now closed, and Mr. Brett Brugansky looks at how they're keeping the music going.
Absolutely sick, in shock.
They are the sounds that don't normally come out of this mom and pop record store.
window, which this is really like our entryway into the shop. All of that was destroyed.
Inside Beverly Phonomart, the recommended speed is 33 or 45 RPMs.
Well, I mean, I got a call around 8 a.m. When you get that call, you know it can't possibly be anything good.
The co-owner, Mallory McClare, found out a car crashed through their store in the early hours of New Year's Day, going close to 100. Not RPMs, but miles per hour.
It took a while to really process.
Bricks piled up on speakers, broken glass scattered on the floor.
And from what we found when we cleaned up, it was pretty clear that someone was injured in our store.
And stacks of vinyl.
And there are some that you might never come across again.
This crash damaged 3 different buildings, including the Beverly Phonomart. Take a look at this. It was so bad. There are now structural integrity issues in the front of the store. This is why you see these support beams where I'm standing, and it's the reason why this business is going to be closed for the foreseeable future.
What's the estimated damage?
We don't know yet. We have no clue. There's a lot of damage to the facade of the building that we're still learning more about.
Like going through crates of records, they'll sift through it all to make sure they didn't skip over anything.
To share what we love with people, we designed it to really feel a lot like an extension of our home.
Their home now has boards covering the windows and doors, reminding people side A has some temporary scratches, but on side B.
But we're keeping our website up so people can make purchases online. We'll be doing free deliveries in the Beverly area, partnering with local businesses for pickup.
This will hopefully get McClare and her husband back on the right track. In Beverly, Brett Pagansky, Fox Chicago.
Well, for the first time this century, Chicago saw less than 2,000 shootings. New crime numbers show violent crime dropped last year. In a social media post, Mayor Brandon Johnson says doubling down on efforts to lower violent crime in the city have proven to be effective. Now, here's what police are reporting for last year. We're talking about January 1st through December the 31st, about 1,400 shootings. That's about a 35% drop from 2024 when it was over 2,200. Murders also went down just over 400 last year, about 150 fewer than in 2024. And the number of people shot dropped as well, about 1,800 victims last year, about 2,800 the year before. Meanwhile, some people say that the changes come from years of consistent hard work and that national leaders, including the president, are missing that context.
I think it's insulting for him to sit in Washington and D.C. and say it's a war zone in Chicago and this is the lowest the number has been since before I was born. And that's just tarnishing or trying to tarnish the work that we're doing here with government, the state and county, everybody saying, hey, this is the recipe that works. Chicago.
Samuel Castro with the Institute for Nonviolent Chicago says the work is very practical. They step in when a beef is starting. They mediate before somebody grabs a gun. And after a shooting, they help families and try to stop the payback. Castro says when shootings drop, regular life feels different. You see more people outside and kids using parks again. People stop moving like they're bracing for something. He says the next step is staying in the same neighborhoods and doing this consistently. He says that is why other cities like Detroit, New York, Atlanta, and L.A. have all been calling to get more insight. Time is now 7:07 this morning. The search continues for Daniel Davis. He is from Blue Island and vanished more than a month ago. In this newly released body camera footage, you can see the 59-year-old getting out of that Cook County Sheriff's vehicle. As he walks into the curb, he appears to be disoriented and stumbles. His family says Davis was involved in a car crash the morning he disappeared. A sheriff's deputy picked him up from the scene of the crash and offered him a ride to work on Bourbon Street. The family believes that Davis may have suffered a stroke before that crash, possibly explaining his behavior. They also say that the body camera footage clearly shows that he was not okay.
If you look closely, you can tell that it's his left leg that he's having trouble with, like either controlling it or like just picking it up. It doesn't really bend right. And after watching that, you know, we realized in all the other clips we have of him the following day, like tripping over stuff, it's all the same leg. So we can tell that the left side of his body is a little bit impaired because at another point in the video, there's, you know, he points to something and his hand isn't fully, like his hand is a little like kind of limp.
A search and rescue team from Ohio is now helping the Chicago Police Department in the search. Search efforts will continue through Sunday. Well, flu cases continue to increase in Illinois and across the country. Health officials say a new strain is part of what is driving it, and more people are ending up in the ER because of it. This data is from the week ending December the 27th. In Illinois, just over 8% of emergency room visits are for the flu. The week before, it was just under 5%. In Chicago, ER visits and hospitalizations are at the highest level since 2022. Doctors say that this is the window when it can still pick up steam. Still to come this morning on Good Day Chicago, one puppy gets stuck in an unfortunate place. We have the details on this rescue right after the break.
Fox.
We continue to follow breaking news. The U.S. has captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and flown him out of the country following a strike on the capital of the country. The mission was carried out by the Army's Delta Force. The strike came as the Trump administration continued to put pressure on Maduro, who's since been charged with narco-terrorism here in the U.S. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi says he will, quote, face the full wrath of the American justice on American soils in American courts. Well, artificial intelligence is already part of your daily routine, whether you ask for it or not, at work, on your phone, or even in how businesses get things done. Brooke Taylor takes a look at how companies are using AI right now.
Please tell me the destination.
From customer service bots to cleaning and delivery bots, Fox News gets a look at the future of AI and how robots are changing the way we work and live.
It's expanding and keep accelerating.
Robot Lab, which is headquartered in Texas, has locations across the country. They house over 50 types of robots. And they don't just supply the bots, but help businesses understand how to use AI to boost efficiency.
Do you think that one day our competition is going to be a robot like that behind you?
So it's not that robots are taking jobs, robots are filling the gap. People just are not interested in the entry-level positions, especially when we're talking about pushing carts, moving food in restaurants, cleaning floors.
Industries like nursing homes are using AI bots to engage with dementia patients. Restaurants and hotels are using them to deliver food and act as a concierge service. and warehouses are using them to help sort boxes. The cleaning bots are the most popular, sweeping hundreds of thousands of square feet per day. But Robot Lab CEO Alad Imbar says humanoid bots like this one are the future of AI.
Pepper uses cameras, microphones, and touch sensors to see.
Probably in a couple of years, I'll start seeing humanoid robots that are capable and actually valuable for everyone's life. You can get your maid, your cook, your housekeeper, and everything. It's just there and does everything for you.
Recently, President Trump signed an executive order aimed at preventing states from overregulating AI. Inbar says this is key for keeping businesses competitive in the AI race, especially against China.
It affects everything from national security, to productivity, to even the ability to sustain our lives in power consumption and everything else. So these are the things that we need AI to solve for us, to work with, because if you're not first, you're last.
And before we go, I want to introduce you to the Robo-Dog. He is here and ready to show off his tricks. In South Lake, Texas, Brooke Taylor, Fox News.
Mark, maybe we need one of those for the newsroom pet.
No way. No way.
No way.
You know, that little guy, he looked really cute until he's coming to rip your face off, right?
Yeah.
And that
pretty high,
Robo-Dog, man, I'm going to keep my little furry friend that I have now.
Yeah.
Robo-Dog,
not so much.
All fine until they turn on you.
It's true.
It's coming.
Yep.
Mark my words. All right, here's what's going on today. We do have cloudy skies. Temperatures into the upper 20s to around 30 degrees today. A lot of cloud cover around today. A little peak of sunshine perhaps late in the afternoon, but don't look for a whole lot today. We will go to partly cloudy skies as we go through the evening hours. We're back down into the teens tonight, another cold one, or at least seasonally cold across most of the area, maybe a couple of degrees below average. And then tomorrow, again, we're right there in the average spot here for this time of year. Temperatures of 32 degrees. But look what happens after that. We are talking about mid and some upper 40s, likely to hit a 50-degree reading later in the week across parts of the area. I don't think that's going to be any problem at all. And then we stay pretty temperate right through the weekend. And even next week, there's nothing really bitterly cold coming our way. So we're entering into the new year. We're entering into January with a pretty mild trend. That trend looks like it's going to continue at least for the near future. Speaking of future, this is Futurecast, and we do see a couple of areas of snow showers up to our north. Watch what happens here. A couple of them want to slide across the area here. I don't think we're going to see much, if any, in terms of precipitation. That's because our atmosphere pretty dry. I think it's going to act like a sponge with any precip that tries to fall our way. Now, coming up tomorrow, there's still a minor chance we could have a little mixed precip here. If we do see it, it'll be quick hitting in and out pretty quickly. And right now, a 15 to maybe 20% chance of that happening. Maybe. Not really high odds. And then we are back into a lot more cloud cover as we go through the rest of the week. But those temperatures staying pretty mild right through the 10-day forecast. Brian?
All right, time is down 7:17 this morning. Well, curiosity got the best of this little pup.
Aww.
Look at Lucy. She got her head stuck in the hole of this cinder block wall in Glendale, Arizona. Lucy was saved thanks to the quick work of the Goodyear Fire Department. I love that name. Firefighters were able to get the pup out. She was reportedly doing just fine at home. She's a cute one, right?
Yeah, way better than that last one you showed me.
Yeah.
With the little robot, scary legs there.
The little fluffy one, right?
Any day of the week. Well, the old saying is, mud in your eye. Here it is. Well, that was on Full View Sunday when nature let loose with an earthly belch.
Oh.
A so-called mud eruption happened at the Black Diamond Pool at Yellowstone National Park.
That looks kind of cool, though.
It is kind of awesome.
I would love to see that in person.
Well, eruptions...
From a safe distance.
From a safe distance, yeah. You don't want to be up too close and personal with that one. Eruptions like this aren't often visible because many happen at night. If that makes sense. You know, half the day is night, right? A major, so to speak, a major mud eruption happened back in July 2024, sending rocks and mud flying hundreds of feet into the air. It damaged the boardwalk. Eruptions can go as high as 40 feet into the air with just the mud. So, yeah, it is kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know,
maybe it had indigestion?
Yeah, I think that's what's going on, you know?
All right, well, more people are using dating apps, but they're not looking for love. A new survey from Resume Builder says about a third of dating app users and are using them to get matched up with new careers and jobs. Job seekers are using the profiles to help them find desirable companies or specific roles and get around the difficulties of the job market, while also avoiding more crowded sites like LinkedIn and Indeed. People say that they've gained mentorship or career advice, gotten interviews, landed a referral or lead, and even received a job offer. I'm very curious on how does this work?
Yeah, exactly. What are the details there?
Because I mean, I've been on a dating app once or twice before in the past. So you do have like your profession,
right?
But like, you know, how do you know that that person is there looking for a job and not for love? Like, what is that opening line?
How do you transition? You know, it's like, hey, how you doing, Mr. Computer Programmer? You know, it's like, hey, what would be really frustrating too is you see that, you know, attractive young man or young lady, and then all of a sudden they really just want you for your job skills.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Well, if you're having trouble sleeping, have you considered true crime? Oh, yeah, makes me want to go to sleep, right? Yeah, it's the new trend right now. Fans of classic docu-series Forensic Files say they're putting it on to help them drift off to sleep. Fans say it's not the grisly details that lull them to sleep. I think that would be a setup for a nightmare. But the calm, steady voice of longtime narrator Peter Thomas. Yeah, he has had that kind of, I don't want to say monotone, but he's got that very straightforward delivery that kind of makes you feel like every time I hear him, I know something bad is going to happen, you know?
You know it's coming.
Right? Well, fans also say they found entire communities on Facebook and Reddit filled with people who swear Forensic Files is the perfect nighttime lullaby.
I know some people swear by these things, these like murder docs and mysteries, whether it's Netflix or something else.
You know, to me, it seems kind of crazy because it seems like that's the stuff of dreams.
Right,
nightmares,
to make nightmares.
Right.
But apparently, you know, the research says it puts people to sleep. Well, do you remember some of the craziest moments of 2025? Here we go. We're going to break down some of those crazy moments that were all caught on camera.
Sponsored by Four Seasons, your trusted local expert.
Year after year, people get caught on camera doing some good things, some bad things, or maybe just some funny things. 2025 was no exception. CB Cotton shows us all the craziest moments caught on camera.
Caught in the act. And caught just in time. 2025 brought us some head-turning moments, and cameras captured them all.
Are you going to get me in jail?
No, I'm not going to put you in jail.
Like this 5-year-old boy who worried about getting arrested after taking a solo trip for some Chick-fil-A. Or a 17-pound dog who spent months on the run before returning to his adopted family.
There he goes.
Bears were caught trespassing and playing ding-dong ditch, while a wild turkey caused a scene when it broke into a pharmacy, and a massive crocodile stopped people in their tracks as it crawled across the street. But Slow and Steady did not win the race for this suspected drug dealer who tried escaping from police on a scooter.
White male covered in mud and underwear.
A Colorado man led officers on a foot chase in just his Speedo, while in Los Angeles, a suspect tried robbing a donut shop disguised in a bikini and sun hat.
Oh, it's here.
Mother Nature was captured spinning tornadoes, whipping up dust storms, and sparking lightning strikes, while fiery space debris lit up the night sky. Stop. And Houston had a problem when Beyoncé's flying car prop malfunctioned during her concert. From Texas to the Vegas Strip, where hotel and casino teams competed for gold in the housekeeping Olympics. But in New York, only one person took home the top prize at a pigeon impersonation pageant. This police officer also showed off his best moves when he responded to a noise complaint.
Just stay there.
First responders came to the rescue of this hiker stuck clinging to the side of a cliff, and a child who got stuck after climbing into a claw machine.
I was just asking if you could time my time for me.
Officers also stepped up to help this young man who wanted to make a good impression at his first job interview. With artificial intelligence now dominating social media, events that appear to be caught on camera will need to be watched with a closer eye in 2026. In New York, CB Cotton, Fox News.
Coming up on Good Day, we continue our breaking news coverage of the U.S. strike carried out against Venezuela. I'll be speaking with a professor from DePaul University in just a few minutes.
I'm Tina Nguyen, and you're watching.
Time is now 7:30, and right now on Good Day Chicago, we continue to follow breaking news out of Venezuela, where the U.S. conducted a large-scale strike against the country and has now captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife. President Donald Trump is expected to address the mission during a press conference later this morning from Mar-a-Lago. We're expecting that at about 10 a.m. Central Time. We're joined now this morning by Professor Tom Makaitis, Professor of History at DePaul University. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Can you recap for our viewers what exactly happened in Venezuela early this morning?
Well, the buildup to this has been going on for several weeks. In addition to the attacks on boats and the seizing of tankers, the U.S. has been moving large numbers of military assets into the Caribbean, particularly troops into Puerto Rico. So I don't think this comes as a complete surprise, but apparently Delta Force commandos carried a snatch and grab raid inside the country and took Maduro and his wife. The regular conventional military assets attacked targets in the country. There is as yet no damage assessment or casualty figures, but you can be sure both of them would be significant.
Now, we know that Maduro was flown out of the country. Do we have any indication where he was taken, and what is the plan for him going forward?
The plan for him well, we don't know where he's been taken. The plan going forward will be similar to what was done to Manuel Noriega under President George H.W. Bush, where he will be charged, he already has been, and will be tried, probably convicted, and placed in a prison in the United States. The really disturbing question is not what's next for Maduro, what's next for Venezuela. We have a bad habit of going into these countries and assuming once you remove a dictator, that automatically democracy springs up like a flower that's suddenly, in bloom. It doesn't work like that. Look at Iraq, look at Afghanistan, look at Syria. I mean, there's so many examples, but we never seem to learn from them.
What role do you think the U.S. will have in the future of Venezuela now that Maduro has been removed?
Well, right now, the principle that operates is you broke it, you bought it. There still is a working government, a functioning military, and they show no signs of simply capitulating to the United States. So there may be more military action. Beyond that, a government has to be put in place. My guess is they will probably try to use the person who was elected in the last election, even though the election was stolen from them. I look for an effort to grab control of Venezuela's oil reserves, which I think is a large part of what this is about.
And Professor, how might this U.S. military action affect stability in Latin America going forward, and also our relationship with some of our allies?
It's going to affect stability not only in the region but across the world. Our allies in the region are quite upset at this unilateral kind of action. And my larger worry is, how do we look Vladimir Putin in the eye and say, you can't invade another country and remove the leader just because you don't like him? Or what is to stop China now from using the same logic in Taiwan, especially since we've moved military assets out of the Pacific or from out of other areas and deployed them in the Caribbean where we really don't need them. So I think this is going to be a destabilizing factor across the globe.
And you mentioned Russia and President Putin there. What do you think that this could do in terms of the ongoing discussions to end the war in Ukraine, between Russia and Ukraine?
Well, we've sacrificed our moral credibility, which is one of the things we had. We would say in the international order, you do not engage in unilateral attacks on a neighboring country, even if you don't like their leadership. You don't act unilaterally. And in our case, the president didn't even involve Congress. He just declares things to be reality. Oh, they're importing large amounts of drugs. We know that isn't true. Maduro was leading a cartel. There's no evidence of that, etc. But once he declares something, it becomes reality, becomes an article of faith, and the basis for further action. And until Congress or the courts makes a move to stop him, I expect more of this. I think Iran is likely to be next.
Going forward, how do you think Americans should assess what this means for U.S. foreign policy and the security of our nation going forward?
I'm having a really hard time seeing a strategic logic to a lot of what's being done. I think we have an individual who's hyper-reactive and who likes to throw his weight around on the international stage. And I think in an odd sort of way, that's a large part of what motivates these operations, the strikes in Nigeria, the strikes in Iran, the strikes in Syria. Syria, there was an obvious pretext because of the death of the 3 Americans. And now Venezuela. I'm sure he drives a lot of people in the Pentagon, around the bend because they have a hard time predicting what exactly he's going to do. So I'm still looking for a strategic logic, and I'm really not seeing one.
All right, Professor Tom Makaitis, Professor of History at DePaul University. Thanks so much this morning for your time and perspective after the United States invades Venezuela. Thanks again.
Happy to help.
All right, time is now 7:35 this morning. Taking a live look outside. Mark, we got a lot of sunshine yesterday. Are we getting any warmth along with it today?
No sunshine today, no warmth. We've got a lot of clouds, and we've got a little bit below average temperatures today. I think we're going to find ourselves upper 20s to around 30 degrees, about 2 or 3 degrees below average. Not a big deal. We're going to be kind of right there in the neutral zone and the average zone. We are seeing some satellite returns of a little bit of light snowfall around the area. Most of this, I don't think, is going to be reaching the ground here this morning. That's because our atmosphere is pretty dry, and any moisture, any snowflakes that try to fall through the atmosphere are pretty much going to be absorbed by that dry air. 22 now at Valparaiso, 23 at Rensselaer, it's 22 in Chicago Heights. Kankakee, you're at 23 degrees. Again, a lot of clouds around the area. 23 in Morris, 21 degrees in Aurora, 20 degrees at DeKalb. And then we run into some teens across the northern tier of counties up near the Wisconsin state line. So again, our forecast models may paint a little light snow here or there, but again, I don't think most of us, 99% of us, are going to see much, if anything at all today, again, because of that dry atmosphere. And as we go through the rest of the day, cloudy skies and clearing out overnight tonight. That drops us back into the teens tonight. I think a good amount of clouds tomorrow, maybe mixed with a little bit of sunshine from time to time. Then we're keeping an eye on this guy right here. Watch as he kind of dips in very briefly. Again, mostly right along the Wisconsin state line. Could be some mixed precip, but really only about a 15% chance of that happening as we go into the day, the later part of the day on Sunday. And then we're back to mostly cloudy skies for a good portion of the rest of the week. But the good news is we have daytime highs Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all in the 40s. And by Friday, Brian, I think we could even have some towns around the area hit 50 degrees.
Ooh,
Shouldn't be
50
too much of a
degrees,
stretch.
man. We'll take that. Well, still ahead on Good Day, the Bears wrap up the regular season tomorrow with a home game against the Detroit Lions. Breaking down which teams the Bears could face in the wild card round of the playoffs.
Through Monday, purchase a beautiful
We continue to follow breaking news. The U.S. captures Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and has now flown him out of the country. That is following a strike on the capital of the country. That mission was carried out by the Army's Delta Force. President Trump gave the green light for his capture several days ago. We will continue to provide updates on this story as they come into our newsroom. All right, time is now 7:40 this morning. The Bears can lock up the #2 seed with the win against the Lions tomorrow. They would then host the Packers in the wild card round next weekend, seeing Green Bay for a third time this season. Now, if the Bears lose and the Eagles win, they would drop to the 3 seed and host the Niners or the Rams. When Ben Johnson was hired, he described the Bears as a sleeping giant. It turns out he was the coach needed to awaken it.
Thought it could be a special group, and that's without knowing necessarily the makeup or the wiring behind all these guys. And the more I've been with them, the more impressed I've been. I think it is I said it a few weeks ago, it's a special group. I love how they go about their business. They love to compete. They love to, they have that right balance of being serious and dialed in and, wanting to do all the things the right way. But at the same time, we really enjoy being around each other, too. I think it's a very close-knit group.
And make sure you tune in today at 9:30 for Bears Game Day Live. Luke Nellis and Anthony Herron will have all the Bears headlines you need to know leading up to tomorrow's kickoff against the Lions. And after the game, make sure to head over to our digital and social media platforms for After the Whistle with Tina Wynn, as well as former Bears quarterback Jim Miller and ESPN Radio's Pat the Designer. They will break down every angle from tomorrow's game, hopefully a win against the Lions. Plenty of sports action happening today. Blackhawks, they're in our nation's capital to take on the Capitals. Puck drops in D.C. at 6 p.m. The Bulls will host Charlotte Hornets at 7 p.m. for men's college hoops. Fighting Illini taking on Penn State at 6 p.m. NIU, they're playing at noon against Kent State, and the Loyola Ramblers, they will host Dayton today at 1. Coming up, we're taking a look at the top 5 films of 2025. Stick around.
At Postman Law, we fight for every
There were many amazing movies to hit theaters in 2025, but which ones were considered the best? Jake Hamilton is our expert here at Fox 32 Chicago, and he breaks down his top 5.
That's right, guys. It is my yearly tradition where I look back on my top 10 favorite films released over the last 12 months. They're the ones that made me laugh, that made me cry, and reminded me of why I love sitting in a dark theater with strangers and getting lost in a great story. I'm counting down my picks for the top 5 best films of the year, starting with number 5. Coming in at number 5 is Surat, a Spanish thriller. It follows a man looking for his missing daughter, who he's heard might be at a rave in the middle of the Moroccan desert. He hears from some ravers there she might be at a different rave, even deeper in the desert, so he follows them. And what follows is the hell that descends upon all of them during their journey deep into that desert. Surat feels like you're descending into hell in real time. Relentless, disorienting, and soaked in dread, Surat is now available on video on demand.
What the hell going on?
Oh, we heard tale of a party. This world already left you for dead. I can save you from your fate.
You don't need no saving.
Yes, you do.
And you are?
I am your way out. Don't cry. It's all better now.
Coming in number 4, Sinners, a perfect example of how the horror genre could really be one of the sharpest social tools we have, because beneath all the vampire terror in this film, Sinners uses the genre not just to scare, but to shine a light, no pun intended, on our world, turning fear into a lens on race, on power, on survival in modern society. Every unsettling moment here has a purpose. It's horror that lingers because it's rooted in our world. Sinners, now streaming on HBO Max.
We're talking about 17 kids in one classroom. I want to know what happened in that classroom. Why just her classroom? Why only her?
I love those kids. This is a true story that happened right here in my town. A lot of people die in a lot of really weird ways in this story, but you're not going to find it in the news.
Those kids walked out of those.
Coming in at number 3, Weapons. Now, movies that ask big questions, like, for instance, why did all of the kids in one classroom get up in the middle of the night, spread their arms, and run away? Those movies only work if the answer is satisfying. And with Weapons, the big answer is kind of an all-time classic. Instead of collapsing under the weight of its big mystery, the reveal elevates the story into the upper tiers of horror films, giving us a final act that will be talked about for years and could be on its way to a big Oscar win. Weapons, now streaming on HBO Max.
The universe is large. And it contains multitudes. But it also contains me.
Coming in at number 2, The Life of Chuck, a little talked about, highly underappreciated Stephen King adaptation. The Life of Chuck is quite simply a beautiful film about a less than extraordinary life. And it's not about a life that's particularly special or noteworthy. It's a love letter to a man who just lived a normal existence, and why there's nothing wrong with that. The Life of Chuck is a quiet miracle of a movie. Instead of asking you what your life added up to, it asks you, what did your life mean? It's a truly beautiful masterpiece I hope more people discover in the years to come. The Life of Chuck, now available on video on demand.
I wanted to protect you from all your mom's stuff and all my stuff, even though I know that's impossible.
This isn't the end of the line. Not for you.
Coming at number 1, my favorite film of 2025, One Battle After Another. This movie feels like a great American epic in the truest sense. It's vast in scope. It is intimate in emotion. It's wildly funny, and it's also deeply aware of the country it is reflecting. But what makes it special is how timeless it feels. This movie could have been released in 2025 or 1975. Writer-director Paul Thomas Anderson has created an old-school giant of American cinema that manages to thrill and to think all at the same time. It's sweeping without being sentimental. It is urgent without being preachy, and powerful because it understands that America is not defined by a single victory, but the battles that we keep fighting. One battle after another is streaming now on HBO Max. If you'd like to see my entire top 10 of the year list, head on over to fox32chicago.com or just follow me on Instagram at Jake's Takes. Back over to you.
All righty, well, check out these two rats.
Oh, boy.
They're fighting over a bagel in New York City.
Who's going to win?
Do you remember Pizza Rat?
I do remember
Yeah,
that.
and there was, like a hot dog rat. You know, I'm surprised they don't have their own show, the Rats of New York City.
Then we had, like, the rat, like the imprint here.
Yes.
What was that, the rat hole? Or
Ratatouille?
Yeah,
what was it?
I forget what it was.
And they took it away.
Yeah, they did.
They took our rat hole away. I can't believe it. Well, you know, they're really going at it here, tugging back and forth for a few minutes. At one point, another rat sneaks in, and why wouldn't he, you know? And he takes a bite. I'm surprised there wasn't a third and a fourth and a fifth rat as they...
cousins coming out.
Right. They're everybody from the neighborhood coming out, getting a little bite of that bagel. The bagel makes his way down towards the bottom of the platform, and here comes rat number 4. He was battling for scraps, and the winning rat remains a mystery. I'm telling you, it reads like a, like a sporting event.
Book? Yeah,
a children's book. What kind of children's book are you reading? The Battle of the Rats.
Yes. All right, well, what would you do if you were in this situation? A Texas family who recently moved into a rental home started hearing some noises in their attic.
What?
So they decided to place some cameras upstairs, and here's what they found. Several rats and a snake.
Oh, my.
As if that wasn't bad enough, the family also says there was no AC in the home for more than 2 months.
Oh.
They say that it was back and forth with the landlord for getting out of the lease. They ended up paying an extra month of rent to be let out. I don't do snakes. So you got rats and snakes?
I don't do extra months in the lease when there's rats and snakes and the AC doesn't work in Texas. It sounds like they were kind of a pushover.
Yeah, I guess they did not read the Yelp reviews for signing that lease, right?
Unbelievable.
Oh, goodness.
What are you thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, don't go anywhere. Mark will have another check of the forecast when we return.
People don't talk about society and
All right, welcome back. Time is now 7:56, almost on the dot.
Yeah,
This Saturday
you're a
morning.
timely young man.
Yes,
yeah.
right?
You know, today's weather is going to feel like it should.
Okay.
Where our temperatures are going to be right about average, and we're going to see a lot of cloud cover with maybe a peak of sunshine. So, you know, about normal weather for this part of January.
Not bad.
Not too bad. Yeah. Same situation again tomorrow. Temperatures around 32, so nothing bitterly cold, nothing really sweetly warm. That is until we arrive at Monday. Look at that, 44 degrees. We do have a lot of cloud cover around. There's some lake effect snow happening on the east side of the Great Lakes, and we have some passing activity around here, but nothing really too major. Maybe a slight risk of a little action Sunday night, Sunday late in the day. Today we make it up to 30 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. 19 overnight tonight with clearing skies, and then tomorrow, again, more of the same, right around 32 with mostly cloudy skies. Now here's where the sweet payoff is. Ooh. If you like mild temps in January.
That'd be a yes.
I would call this actually warm for January.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, we're talking about mid and upper 40s, and I think it's not too much of a stretch of the imagination to hit 50 in there.
And I think anytime we're talking about rain instead of snow, we'll
kind of wash that salt off the walkways and driveways.
Yeah, I do need a car wash. All right, well, stick around. There's more to come this morning here on Good Day Chicago.
Are you struggling with pain?
Live from Michigan Avenue, this is Fox 32's Good Day Chicago.
We are following breaking news this morning on Good Day. U.S. troops strike Venezuela and capture President Nicolas Maduro. Chicago sees its lowest level of violent crime in more than a decade. What Mayor Brandon Johnson and some residents are saying about the new statistics. And taking a live look outside, getting off to a cold and cloudy start this morning. Mark Stroud will have the latest on this weekend's forecast in just a bit. Good morning and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Brian Jackson. We start with breaking news because the U.S. has captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and flown him out of the country. This follows a strike on the capital of Venezuela. This video shows multiple explosions rocking the area. Reports say at least 7 explosions in low-flying aircraft could be heard around 2 a.m. there in the city of Caracas. The mission was carried out by the Army's Delta Force. The strike came as the Trump administration continued to put pressure on Maduro, who's been charged with narco-terrorism here in the U.S. President Trump gave the green light for his capture several days ago. President Trump went on to Truth Social confirming the U.S. strike against Venezuela and the capture of both President Maduro and his wife. Both have since been flown out of the country. U.S. officials say that Maduro is expected to stand trial here in the U.S. We're going to have much more in that story a little bit later this morning. For now, time is now 8:01. Turning over to Mark. Getting off to a chilly start, but it's actually not going to be that bad for this time of year today.
It's going to be about normal. And about normal again tomorrow, too. So temperatures pretty close to 30 degrees today and pretty close to 32 tomorrow. Now, very little sunshine. When I say very little sunshine, this is a pretty good example. We've got cloudy skies with little brightness down to our south, and I think that's how today rolls out. A lot of cloud cover, maybe an occasional peak of some sunshine. Daytime highs, our forecast model's painting a lot of upper 20s. I think many locations very close to 30 degrees. And as I've said, temperatures a couple of degrees warmer by tomorrow. So we're pretty close to the range of normality. Right now, there are some pockets of light snowfall, mostly north central and northwestern Wisconsin. This is kind of aiming down towards southeastern Wisconsin, but I think most of this activity stays north of the Wisconsin state line. I'm not expecting really any snowfall around the area at all today. If we do see anything, it'll be right along the Wisconsin state line, and it should be pretty fleeting and pretty light, mostly just a few light flakes. But I think we're going to stay dry here across most of the city. All right, temperatures today? Well, we are starting out with temperatures in the 20s. A little bit cooler up to the north, temperatures in the teens. Wind chill's not so bad today. Cool for the weekend, seasonally cool, but a whole lot warmer coming next Monday and all next week, and I'll tell you about that in a moment.
A rough start to 2026 for a family-owned record store in Beverly. Someone crashed into it on New Year's. The front doors are now closed. Our Brett Bruganski looks at how they're keeping the music going.
Absolutely sick, in shock.
They are the sounds that don't normally come out of this mom and pop record store.
Which this is really like our entryway into the shop. All of that was destroyed.
Inside Beverly Phonomart, the recommended speed is 33 or 45 RPMs.
Well, I mean, I got a call around 8 a.m. When you get that call, you know it can't possibly be anything good.
The co-owner, Mallory McClare, found out a car crashed through their store in the early hours of New Year's Day, going close to 100, not RPMs, but miles per hour.
It took a while to really process.
Bricks piled up on speakers, broken glass scattered on the floor.
And from what we found when we cleaned up, it was pretty clear that someone was injured in our store.
And stacks of vinyl.
And there are some that you might never come across again.
This crash damaged 3 different buildings, including the Beverly Phonomart. Take a look at this. It was so bad. There are now structural integrity issues in the front of the store. This is why you see these support beams where I'm standing, and it's the reason why this business is going to be closed for the foreseeable future.
What's the estimated damage?
We don't know yet. We have no clue. There's a lot of damage to the facade of the building that we're still learning more about.
Like going through crates of records, they'll sift through it all to make sure they didn't skip over anything.
To share what we love with people, we designed it to really feel a lot like an extension of our home.
Their home now has boards covering the windows and doors, reminding people side A has some temporary scratches, but on side B.
But we're keeping our website up so people can make purchases online. We'll be doing free deliveries in the Beverly area, partnering with local businesses for pickup.
This will hopefully get McClare and her husband back on the right track. In Beverly, Brett Bruganski, Fox Chicago.
For the first time of this century, Chicago saw less than 2,000 shootings. New crime numbers show violent crime dropped last year. In a social media post, Mayor Brandon Johnson says he's doubling down on efforts to lower violent crime in the city, and they have proven to be effective. Now, here's what police are reporting for last year. We're talking about January the 1st through December 31st. about 1,400 shootings. That's about a 35% drop from 2024 when it was over 2,200. Murders also went down, just over 400 last year, about 150 fewer than 2024. And the number of people shot also dropped, about 1,800 victims last year, about 2,800 the year before. Meanwhile, some people say that the changes come from years of consistent hands-on work, and that national leaders, including the president, are missing that context.
I think it's insulting for him to sit in Washington and D.C. and say it's a war zone in Chicago, and this is the lowest the number has been since before I was born. And that's just tarnishing or trying to tarnish the work that we're doing here with government, the state and county, everybody saying, hey, this is the recipe that works. Chicago.
Samuel Castro with the Institute for Nonviolent Chicago says the work is very practical. They step in when a beef is starting. They mediate before somebody grabs a gun. And after a shooting, they help families try and stop the payback. Castro says when shootings drop, regular life just feels different. You see more people outside and kids can use the parks again. People stop moving like they're bracing for something. He says the next step is staying in the same neighborhoods and doing this work consistently. He says that is why other cities like Detroit, New York, Atlanta, and LA have been calling to get insights. Well, the search continues for Daniel Davis. He is from Blue Island and vanished more than a month ago. In this newly released body camera footage, you can see the 59-year-old getting out of that Cook County Sheriff's vehicle. As he walks onto the curb, he appears to be disoriented and stumbles. His family says Davis was involved in a car crash the morning he disappeared. A sheriff's deputy picked him up from the scene of the crash, then offered to give him a ride to work on Bourbon Street. The family believes that Davis may have suffered a stroke before that crash, possibly explaining his behavior. They also say that the body camera footage clearly shows he was not okay.
If you look closely, you can tell that it's his left leg that he's having trouble with, like either controlling it or like just picking it up. It doesn't really bend right. And after watching that, we realized in all the other clips we have of him the following day, like tripping over stuff, it's all the same leg. So we can tell that the left side of his body is a little bit impaired because at another point in the video, there's, he points to something and his hand isn't fully, like his hand is a little like kind of limp.
A search and rescue team from Ohio is now helping the Chicago Police Department in that search. Search efforts will continue through Sunday. Flu cases continue to increase in Illinois and across the country. Health officials say a new strain is part of what is driving it, and more people are ending up in the ER because of it. This data is from the week ending December 27th. In Illinois, just over 8% of emergency room visits are due to the flu. The week before, that number was just under 5%. In Chicago, ER visits and hospitalizations are at the highest level since 2022. Doctors say that this is the window when it can still pick up steam. Coming up this morning on a Good Day, one mini golf business is introducing mocktails for people sticking to a dry January. They're joining us in studio to go over some of their drink specials and what you can get to experience at their locations.
Fox 32 News is
We're continuing to follow some breaking news. The U.S. has captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and flown him out of the country. That follows a strike earlier this morning in the capital of the country. The mission was carried out by the Army's Delta Force. The strike came as the Trump administration continued to put pressure on Maduro, who's been charged with narco-terrorism here in the U.S. President Trump gave the green light for his capture several days ago. Artificial intelligence is already part of your day-to-day routine, whether you ask for it or not. We're talking about at work, on your phone, even in how businesses get things done. Brooke Taylor takes a look at how companies are using AI going forward.
Please tell me the destination.
From customer service bots to cleaning and delivery bots, Fox News gets a look at the future of AI and how robots are changing the way we work and live.
It's expanding and keep accelerating.
Robot Lab, which is headquartered in Texas, has locations across the country. They house over 50 types of robots. And they don't just supply the bots, but help businesses understand how to use AI to boost efficiency.
Do you think that one day our competition is going to be a robot like that behind you?
So it's not that robots are taking jobs, robots are filling the gap. People just are not interested in the entry-level positions, especially when we're talking about pushing carts, moving, food in restaurants, cleaning floors.
Industries like nursing homes are using AI bots to engage with dementia patients. Restaurants and hotels are using them to deliver food and act as a concierge service. And warehouses are using them to help sort boxes. The cleaning bots are the most popular, sweeping hundreds of thousands of square feet per day. But Robot Lab CEO Alad Imbar says humanoid bots like this one are the future of AI.
Pepper uses cameras, microphones, and touch sensors to see.
Probably in a couple of years, I'll start seeing humanoid robots that are capable and actually valuable for everyone's life. You can get your maid, your cook, your housekeeper, and everything. It's just there and does everything for you.
Recently, President Trump signed an executive order aimed at preventing states from over-regulating AI. Imbar says this is key for keeping businesses competitive in the AI race, especially against China.
It affects everything from national security, to productivity, to even the ability to sustain our lives in power consumption and everything else. So these are the things that we need AI to solve for us, to work with, because if you're not first, you're last.
And before we go, I want to introduce you to the Robo-Dog. He is here and ready to show off his tricks. In South Lake, Texas, Brooke Taylor, Fox News.
Well, if you are taking your four-legged friend, not the robo kind, out, you may want to give them some booties because it's still pretty cold out there, Mark.
Yeah, it's cold, and just about every pavement is white with all that salt residue. Yeah. So yeah, you want to be careful of that. Fortunately for us, our winds are virtually non-existent. Very light where we have them, only a couple of miles per hour. So wind chills, not too much of a factor this morning, but we are still finding some chills in the teens this morning. But those wind chills will be sliding off the weather forecast here over the next several days, because Monday through Friday, we are looking for a big warm-up coming our way. In fact, temperatures coming up this next week, we're going to find ourselves in the middle and upper 40s. I think we could have some 50-degree readings across parts of the area. So let's take you through today, because this warm-up doesn't occur until Monday. Today we've got a lot of cloud cover, temperatures in the 20s, 21 degrees at 9 o'clock this morning, 27 degrees at 1. We're going to find ourselves, I think, just touching on about 30 degrees most locations. Not a lot of sunshine around, but we may see a few breaks in the clouds from time to time later on this afternoon. By tonight, we will go to partly cloudy skies, and those temperatures, again, dropping back down into the teens. So 32 tomorrow, 30 degrees today, 32 tomorrow, and then we are in the 40s really all the way right through the end of the week and into next weekend. It looks like an incredible run as we push into the early part of January. And I'm not really seeing any big changes coming anytime soon. So our futurecast keeps us into clouds, clearing out overnight tonight, and then tomorrow more cloud cover. And our satellite and radar shows a few snowflakes dancing around the area. I don't think we're going to have any problems with this. I think for the most part, our atmosphere is dry, and those snowflakes should be absorbed into the atmosphere. Speaking of dry, we're not dry here this morning. It looks like we got all kinds of wet products.
Yeah, we're going to get to this, right? If you're looking for something fun to do with friends or your family, then why not give Putt Shack a try? Joining us now is the Assistant Director of Operations, Zachary Gales. Thanks so much for being here.
Oh, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, you betcha.
We're going to get to the drinks in just a moment. So for somebody who's never been, how would you describe, I guess, the atmosphere at Putt Shack?
Yeah, absolutely. Putt Shack is a very vibrant, high-energy atmosphere. It's a tech-infused mini-golf concept based in Chicago here. It's really cool and different because it has an elevated food and beverage menu as well. So that brings a different kind of atmosphere to our concept. And you know, we also are a venue that brings everyone into play, and we pride ourselves on that.
Tech infused. What are we talking here? Are we talking like a lot of like flashing neon lights? Are we talking about? Are you going to show me what is wrong with my stroke? What exactly are you talking about when it comes to tech infused?
Yeah, absolutely. So the balls that we use, the golf balls that we use, have a trackable ball technology in them that tracks your score, tracks your strokes, and records everything for you. So when you're on the courses,
like Top Golf, only with mini putt. Is
better.
that kind of what you're describing?
Yeah,
better.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
like
absolutely.
That.
So yeah, it's fun, and like I said, it's something that everyone can do. So you know, your traditional mini golf where you have to keep your score, none of that.
You got the little pencil that you
exactly.
Do you have a windmill?
Yeah, exactly.
A hippo with the mouth that opens.
Right. So it's cool that everybody can come in and play, and then when you're on the courses, we don't have to write down the score or anything like that. So you can enjoy one of our mocktails on the course as well. So yeah,
we're a couple of days into the start of what's known as Dry January. Why was it so important to create this option for people who come and visit?
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like the mocktail market is kind of untapped right now, and so giving people an option, a non-alcoholic option to come out and drink when they're out and having a social environment is important. People want to feel comfortable and included, and it's a cool version for us to bring these vibrant colors, these fun spirits,
and tasty drinks,
right? These fun spirits, and that we embody with Putt Shack.
What'd you pick there?
Yeah, which ones do you have here?
So this is the NA Spritz. This is actually one of my favorites. It has the Liar's Rosa. It's like an aperitif.
The Liar's Rosa.
It resembles like a vermouth. A sweet vermouth. And so you put a little bit of that in there, and then you also have Toss, which is the drink here, right there for you. It's a sparkling white cranberry, which gives you that additional little flavor profile there. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, what is this?
So that is the H2O mocktail. It's basically like a ranch water. We call it the H2O ranch water. So very basic, very popular down south in like Texas. So we wanted to bring something on that was very similar. So it's using a tequila spirit, but non-alcoholic.
Yeah, I was grabbing this bottle and I was thinking like, oh, this just looks like, you know, like a regular bottle of like whiskey.
You would never know. Yeah, you would never know.
Except no alcohol.
No alcohol, like I said, yeah.
And I'm looking at this guy here. This looks like like a tequila sunrise.
Oh man, very similar. Passion fruit lemonade. So yeah, give it a sip there.
That looks good.
Very fresh, right? Very sweet. So it's a good option for adults, but kids as well can get those that selection, as well as the cotton candy crush, which I'm going to make here for you guys here in a bit.
Let's put it together.
Yeah, all right. Let's get going then.
So you mix away. I want to talk to you more about your venue.
Yeah, absolutely.
It sounds like a fun place. I'm guessing that you see a lot of people like maybe out on their first date coming to visit you.
Yeah, lots of first dates, man. It's a good concept for that, just because, you know, we had the elevated food and beverage menu as well. So you can golf, and then afterwards you can sit down and have a beverage with your date.
So how do you pair some of these mocktails with, I guess, some of your food options?
Yeah, absolutely. So certain things. So we have a few salad selections. So for instance, I would pair something lighter with that, maybe the H2O Spritz over there, or the NA Spritz as well.
What's the blue stuff there?
This is the cotton candy syrup.
Oh, is that going here?
Yes, that's going to go in the cotton candy
in.
crust.
I want to
try see what this looks like? All right. Got you covered.
Look, I like how you're measuring that.
Oh yeah, got to get the proper pour.
The way I measure, Brian. It's
just free-handed.
Yeah, a little gulp. A little,
oh man.
Again, these are mocktails.
Yeah. These are mocktails.
Yeah. Well, even my mocktails might be a little heavy.
And the cool thing about our mocktails, they're very simple, 2-3 step process to make them. And they have a very pretty, vibrant color to them. So we'll go ahead and just top that with a little cherry.
Look at that.
And voila, there you are.
Brian, have at it. Tell us how it tastes.
You guys have multiple locations.
Yes, absolutely.
What kind of specials do you have maybe going during this holiday season?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now we're running our unlimited golf. It was a huge hit during the holiday season. You can come in any day, Sunday through Friday, and experience that. $15 for kids, $25 for adults. And like I said, during the holidays, it's been a huge hit. Our courses have been running rampant. So definitely come by and visit us.
You got to grab it.
All right.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you so much for coming in. These are delightful and refreshing.
Hey, thank you guys for having us.
Great for summer, too, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Very good.
Cheers.
I appreciate it. We'll be right back. Time is now 8:22. Time is now 8:25 this morning. We do want to update you on our breaking news this morning. The U.S. has captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and flown him out of the country. That follows a strike earlier this morning in the capital of the country. The mission was carried out by the Army's Delta Force. Venezuelan officials say that Maduro was at home on a military base when he was captured. President Trump is expected to speak about the mission during a press conference at around 10 a.m. Central Time. We will provide updates on this story as they continue to come into our newsroom this morning. All right, time is now 8:25. Checking back in with Mark for one last look at the forecast. We're about where we should be.
Yeah, right? Exactly. How many times in life can you say that? You're where you should be. We are pretty close to the low 30s today. I think we make it upper 20s to around 30 degrees. And then more of the same for tomorrow. Now, our forecast model is showing this little activity. This is a little wintry mix. We're still kind of keeping an eye on to see if that will be occurring. Right now, it looks like about a 10 to 15% chance of of that happening as we go through your Sunday. Again, right now our atmosphere is very dry in spite of the fact we have cloud cover, and that's keeping the snow and precip away. But that is the only minor detail, which includes precip anytime soon. 19 tonight, tomorrow temperatures back to 32 degrees, and our 7-day forecast, we are looking at temperatures in the middle and upper 40s all next week.
We're looking forward to that. We like seeing rain, not snow this time of year, right?
You know, at this point, it kind of washes your car. You know, it gives you a free car wash, right?
We could all use that.
Get the salt off.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us this morning. Fox 32 will be back with the latest news at 9 o'clock tonight. Bears Blitz is up next. And again, we are going to give you the update from President Trump. We're expecting to hear from him around 10 a.m. Central Time. We will bring that to you as soon as it happens. We'll see you then.
Stream Good Day Chicago on your way to